Hello, I'm Colleen Holder and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're at the Seahorse Inn Restaurant in Blackrock. This inn by the bay gives a great view of the beach, which is just a stone's throw away, and serves a variety of dishes ranging from Creole to international style cuisine. There's also nightly entertainment and rooms for rent. Who knows, while you're here you may see turtles hatch or come in to nest, if you're fortunate enough. We'll take you in and around this establishment, but first let's tell you that today we're devoting our entire program to the events of 2013. Now, it's difficult to recap everything that's happened in Tobago over the last year in 30 minutes, so we decided to narrow our stories down to pieces that are compelling, memorable, and in some cases simply heartwarming, with the potential to change lives. Even this will in no way capture it all, and the pieces we chose are not in any chronological order, but stay with us as we look back at the big events over the last year in Tobago. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us at the Seahorse Inn Restaurant, where we're looking back at the big events of 2013. Here you can choose the upstairs dining area or go down in the open air of the courtyard. Whatever you fancy, the menu offers a great selection of soups, salads, seafood, beef, lamb, pork, duck or chicken. It's variety, and it's probably one of the options on the minds of many Tobagonians as they sang Auld Lang Syne in 2012. This island knew it was only a matter of weeks before they headed to the polls to choose 12 new representatives. On the evening of January 21st, it became clear that one party had swept the polls, changing the face of the assembly and leaving it devoid of any official opposition. It also meant that for the first time, there was no councillor appointed on the advice of the minority leader.
I, Orville London, having been elected an assemblyman for Tobago, do swear by Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Trinidad and Tobago, will uphold the Constitution and the law, and will conscientiously and impartially discharge the duties and responsibilities of assemblyman that I am now about to assume.
Over London, 11 other assemblymen and 3 councillors are the members of the new Tobago House of Assembly. 5 of them have been here before, at least one of them in a different capacity. Huey Cadet served as councillor during the last term, but the other 6 are new faces. But this new term of the Assembly will be historic for other reasons as well. The outcome of the THA elections has effectively left the Assembly without any opposition.
I declare the office of Minority Leader of the Tobago House of Assembly vacant.
This has also affected the number of councillors that will serve. They have been reduced from 4 to 3. Traditionally, the 4th councillor is appointed on the advice of the minority leader. But in the absence of the minority leader in this assembly, this post is now eliminated. The 3 appointed councillors are Gary Melville, who held this position during the life of the last assembly. He will be joined by Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus and Dian Isaac, both first-timers. Mr. Isaac's role will be twofold. He will also serve as the Deputy Presiding Officer, while Kelvin Charles replaces Anne Mitchell-Giff as Presiding Officer.
But there was a story that dominated the local and national landscape as much as the THA elections. Even if you had never heard of Milsherv, that changed when the construction project became a political football on platforms. As the THA election campaign intensified, the allegations from the government moved to the court, causing work to stop. But eventually the project and its architects were vindicated. Here's how that happened.
This project is estimated to cost $143 million, but work stopped after what the Prime Minister called questionable dealings of the THA, and the Attorney General filed for judicial review of the Assembly's decision to enter into a bold arrangement with Milsherv Properties Limited.
It allows us to go full speed ahead with the construction of the Milsherv, of the administrative complex at Milford.
But a few things changed during the last court hearing. Through a letter, the Minister of Finance instructed the payment of lease rents to Milsherv Properties Limited under the proposed lease between the THA and Milsherv, and the lease and mortgage of the complex to the THA and FCB pursuant to the bold arrangements entered between the THA and Milsherv. The Attorney General has also backed away from his request from judicial review and is now asking the court to determine the true extent of the THA's powers under the THA Act.
A very powerful signal that contrary to what was being said and what was being alleged, there was nothing untoward about this particular transaction. It was a transaction entered into in good faith between agencies whose reputations that were tarnished.
The Assembly intends that the new complex will be used for multiple purposes, not just as an office for one of its divisions, but as conference facilities and other community activities. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
There's a saying that elections have consequences, and Tobago found this out the hard way when the national budget was read. The central government gave this island just about half of the monies it requested. This forced the Chief Secretary and his executive back to the drawing board and led to what was essentially a second budget reading. Davia Chambers joins us again to recap how the planners dealt with their reduced allocations.
Shore Park Cultural Complex, the Scarborough Library, and the Milsherv Agricultural Complex are just some of the major projects that will be given priority in this new fiscal year. And even though the Tobago House of Assembly received just about half of what it requested from the central government, there's a promise that these projects will be completed.
Because we were elected to lead, because of the leadership role that we have accepted and our commitment to service, this requires us to go beyond complaining about the difficulties wrought upon us.
But that's not all. The Assembly will also keep its continued commitment to invest in the island's infrastructure.
The completion of the Adventure Mini Malls at a cost of $13.3 million, the Pure Road Repair and Road Resurfacing programs totaling $64 million, the completion of the Charlottesville Mini Mall at a cost of $13 million.
And agriculture is not left out as the island works to achieve food security.
The completion of the Charlottesville Fishing Complex and the Castara Fishing Complex at a cost of $14 million. The construction of a new Scarborough Abattoir at a cost of $10 million. Our continuous investment in agricultural access roads at a cost of $15 million.
In terms of housing, Corland and Bell Garden will be developed into housing developments similar to those at Adventure and Hope. But the THA only got just under $2.5 billion, a huge shortfall from its original request. How then would all these projects be funded?
We propose to draw funds from the contingencies account, from transfers from recurrent expenditure reallocation, transfers from other operational balances from dormant accounts.
The THA was forced to make adjustments to its June presentation, which was premised on receiving $4.95 billion, a figure that would have covered all of the Assembly recurrent expenditure and development needs. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
But even before that budgetary blow, Tobago had devised a number of ways to boost its economy. This island honed in on its tourism product and turned its attention to the Scandinavian market. The plan entailed giving visitors from that region a non-stop flight to Tobago. Enter Apollo Airlines Virtual. Juliet James revisits their maiden flight.
The Airbus A330 brought 257 Scandinavian tourists. This is the first of a scheduled weekly service to the island.
This flight starts today for 16 weeks, and today is a fantastic start. We've got 257 passengers today on what is a 270-seater, so that means we've got 95% occupancy. We've already sold 2,500 seats on this flight. So when these people go back and tell everybody about what a wonderful time they've had in Tobago, we're going to sell more.
I think we should say that now turns us onto a very positive spin for investor confidence in terms of us moving forward. This is only the beginning. We have a number of other negotiations that have been signed off for 2014-15.
The celebrated 11-hour flight from Scandinavia is set to arrive in Tobago every Tuesday until March 2014, and the winter season service will continue with this schedule until the year 2016. From the Division of Tourism and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's time to take a break, but when we return, a second look at the project that ended blackouts for residents in the east of Tobago. You're viewing Let's Talk Tobago, and this is our year in review, a look back at the big events of 2013. Today we're at the Seahorse Inn Restaurant in Black Rock, located just a short walk from Grafton Beach. This inn provides accommodation in the form of 4 ocean view bedrooms, each air-conditioned with the basic amenities and their own balcony. Additionally, the Seahorse Inn offers villas and suites to rent close by. And speaking of close, our next story literally brought light to many. Residents in the east of Tobago had to live with unexpected interruptions in their electricity supply on a constant basis. But that has now changed, and the credit is owed to the completion of the first phase in the construction of a TNTEC substation at Studley Park. This is what happened as August drew to a close.
This is the switch, when turned, allows persons living in Windward, Tobago to see an improvement in the electricity service to their homes and businesses. Today is a result of almost a year of consultations, land purchasing and construction. And the end result is this: TNTEC's substation at Studley Park.
We expect an improvement. And not only that, for the business people, reliability of a supply of electricity is important to them. I think for Tobago East to grow, electricity supply has to be reliable. I think this is one step in the right direction.
But the benefits are not just for residents in the east.
If they deliver what they promise, it will be a good thing for not just east of Tobago, but all of Tobago. Because if we have the people on the east affected, it means they can't get to work, they have no current water, so it would be good for all of Tobago.
The substation's infrastructure took 33 days to construct, and the first stage will supply half of its 66,000 volt capacity to communities such as Delaford, Lansformy and Palatovere.
The infrastructure is being energized at this point at 33,000 volts to allow for phase 1 for this project to start off, to bring immediate reliefs for the residents in this vicinity.
Phase 2 of the project is scheduled for completion in about 2 years' time, so that the residents will have better power quality. Along with this, there will be other projects which will improve the electricity network and supply throughout the island. I'm Umudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
One of this island's big achievements in 2012 was the opening of the new Scarborough General Hospital. But what's a shiny new building that doesn't meet the needs of the people? That's why money and energy were pumped into a program that captures medical images and transfers them to a central computerized system. It's designed so that files can then be accessed via network in any hospital. We're visiting the launch that eliminated that elusive search for hard copies and, of course, physical storage space, just to name a few cost-saving benefits.
The Division of Health and Social Services is aware also of the problem that we have with medical records and the need to modernize means by which we store and access such medical records.
Technological advancements are changing the medical industry, and Tobago isn't being left behind, particularly when it comes to radiology. It makes life easier, and physicians at the Scarborough General Hospital are now utilizing picture archiving and communications system. This simply means that all medical images are electronically saved. This translates into quick and easy access to patient images, reducing the amount of time taken to access hard copies.
So a doctor would request a study, let's say an X-ray, and typically the patient goes for the X-ray and then the doctor has to wait for that image to come back to him on film. Right now, as soon as the study is done on the patient, the study is uploaded to the system, and then it's available to the doctor.
And this system doesn't leave out the health centers on the island. They too will have access to the system. Added to that, medical images can also be shared outside of Tobago for further assistance.
We also have, as part of that system, an internet portal which allows us to then further send those images out to the wider world. So anyone with internet access and the necessary security clearance can then access these studies. We can also send the studies via the same portal for consultations of other doctors.
This is just one way in which the Tobago Regional Health Authority and the Division of Health and Social Services will increase physician efficiency in managing their patients' care. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
But that was one of many achievements in the health sector. In an effort to promote and improve patient care, changes were made to the laundry operations at the Scarborough General Hospital. Omadar Mills filed this story.
Whether it's these which can wash up to 225 pounds of laundry in 40 minutes, or the completely mechanized ironing beds which will iron and fold bed linens, the new Scarborough General Hospital's laundry facility is now automated and high-tech.
With those press, different things and so like, stacking and so forth, we didn't have that all the time. So now as the new system in, that will be very good for the staff. So we will be hardly getting the heat from these equipments.
Tobago's hospital laundry will no longer be sent to Trinidad to be cleaned, a process which took days. Now it will only be a matter of hours for the sorting, washing, drying, ironing and folding of laundry, a system which will see an improvement in the health services provided to patients at the hospital.
With this system, with this facility, it will be 6 hours. Every sheet will be back on the bed in 6 hours. A clean sheet makes for a healthy patient. So if you can get a 6-hour sheet rotation, in other words, if you can change the sheet every day, or in some cases every half day, then the fact of getting cross-contamination and thing, it goes down exponentially.
One feature which will see the system in continuous operation is that there's more than one of everything, so that even when one piece of equipment is down, the others will still function at an optimum level. The Scarborough General Hospital's new laundry facility is located at Shore Park. I'm Omadar Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
This other project marked a milestone in Tobago's agricultural sector, a lab using plant tissue technology to grow virtually any plant. This put this island right up there with our regional partner St. Vincent, which grows about 9,000 plants each year, yet still cannot supply enough to other Caribbean nations. Well, those countries now have another supply source, and it's happening right here in Tobago.
It was 5 years in the making. Now, it's finally here. And here with many benefits to the agricultural sector of Tobago. One such benefit is the profit that will be made by producing thousands of plants in a few months. It's the Plant Tissue Culture Laboratory in Goldsboro, which will boost food production here in Tobago.
When our modest laboratory here in Tobago is fully staffed and is optimally equipped, we will be able to produce approximately 250,000 plants per annum. Now, assuming that we provide these plants at a subsidized cost of about $5 per plant, this translates to about $1.25 million per year. And with the addition of another hardening facility, the value of the plant output can be substantially increased.
Agricultural issues such as the shortage of high quality and high yield supply to farmers, the lack of disease-free plant stock, and the impact of climate change can all be resolved.
The most outstanding benefit is that it is a highly effective means of mass propagation of planting material that is clean in a relatively short time frame as compared to conventional agricultural methods.
The lab plans to supply plants to other Caribbean nations as well, making this another success story for Tobago and the region. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're taking another break, but stay with us as we look back at the day this island opened its doors to the first Y zone. This is Let's Talk Tobago. Thanks for staying with us as we review the stories that changed our lives and impacted our communities in 2013. Today we're here in Black Rock at the Seahorse Inn, a place that can accommodate a small party or a private function. They also provide complete wedding services, which include registration, shopping and the ceremony, even videotaping and photography, making the nuptials a stress-free event for newlyweds. Now, stress-free and youth can probably always end up in the same sentence. This group has mastered the art of living life to the fullest. But the Tobago House of Assembly wanted to ensure that part of that life includes having a say in the decision-making process on this island. And to encourage them, a number of youth or Y zones have been established across the island. Let's take a look back at the day the first one opened in Calder Hall.
This is a first for the island, and is known as Tobago's Youth or Y Zone, designed to transform the community by empowering its young people. It's the only place designed specifically to facilitate the needs of young Tobagonians.
Young people often complain of being excluded from the decision-making process. But this Youth Zone project creates the first doorway for the youth to be heard in a positive manner.
This Y Zone has 8 computers, which will be used to offer free computer training and facilities. But this space will also provide counseling services and health programs. The Assembly designed the Y Zones in an attempt to foster the development of young Tobagonians. This one here in Calder Hall is one of 7 to be built. Others under construction are in Argyle, Canby Mount Pleasant, Plymouth, Speyside, Lance for Me and Mason Hall. I'm Omidara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
And as the push to grow the tourism sector continued, the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute delivered on its promise to provide the best culinary experience. The institute sent 4 of its students to the Canada College in Canada, even as it welcomed a group from Nigeria. We're reminding you of the day the Nigerians came to Tobago.
In Nigeria, we have most people know Tobago to be a tourist destination, and so much we heard about the cultural heritage, about the beautiful scenery, and we didn't think there's any other place better than Tobago to get a tourism training.
An endorsement for the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. More than a century ago, this relationship might have been unimaginable. Or 4 parents journeying to Tobago from Nigeria via the Middle Passage during the slave trade. In 2013, Nigerians are still coming to Tobago, but this time under very different circumstances.
Having gained the knowledge and from the best place, one of the best places in the world, as tourist destination, we should be able to replicate what we study here.
The marketing manager at THTI, Kieran McDougall, says this significant international intake is the largest in any semester. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
Another notable event on this island's calendar during 2013 happened when some of the region's advocates and think tanks came to discuss solutions to the issue of domestic violence and gender equality. Davia Chambers walks us through how that three-day conference turned out.
This is the scar of violence against women, the face of a woman. This woman's nose is cut. Her face is burned by her husband because her husband felt that she was unfaithful to him.
Data from the Crime and Problem Analysis Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service shows that over the decade from 2001 to 2011, on average, 25 persons were murdered each year as a result of domestic violence. But Dr. Gabriel says there are also many fatal health outcomes. So how do we prevent domestic violence and save women?
There are promising interventions. With these promising interventions, we could work on empowering women, transforming harmful gender norms.
He made it clear that violence against women can and must be prevented. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
But no one can recall the events of 2013 without mentioning the docudrama Tobago 1677, which was shot on location in Tobago. The film recreated the bloody battle between the Dutch and the French in which 20 ships sank and thousands died. Here's Keyshawn Wilson with the details of the film's launch.
That's just a snippet of what audiences around the world will be able to see when they look at the film Tobago 1677, a production done by the German film company Ocean Discovery. Now that the film has been made, it's time to distribute. The director of the film, Rick Haupt, says that the movie will be entered into several film festivals and shows in the coming months.
Last month, our distributor Sky Vision has introduced the film at MIPCOM in Cannes in France. That's the biggest market you can hope getting into it because most buyers are right there.
But this will not stop there. There are plans to put the film, which has been divided into 2 one-hour programs, on television.
We hope that by February, March, April next year, the broadcasters then come back and then they buy the film and feed it into their programs worldwide.
The producer, Kevin Kenny, says that he appreciated the professionalism of the locals who worked on the film, an element which increases the film's global market value.
I think you will be very proud of our countrymen when you see how fantastic they look and they performed in the film. And in fact, without exception, they all look like professional actors. It certainly helped that they didn't have to speak any roles and that the whole story is voiced over. So that made them a lot more comfortable.
In addition to human and physical infrastructure, the THA contributed a portion of the $1.5 million which went into the making of the film. I'm Keyshawn Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
And that's how we bring this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago to a close. We hope you enjoyed a look back at the big events of 2013 here in Tobago. Do remember you can send us your comments to information@tha.gov.tt or visit us at www.tha.gov.tt. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Colleen Holder, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, do have a safe and productive week and a prosperous new year.